I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting my emerald cocktail dress for the 100th time. The annual Bell Family Gala, my personal version of hell dressed up in champagne and caviar. My name is Edith, and tonight I'd have to endure another round of my sister in law's special brand of psychological warfare. Edith, there you are? Lila's voice cut through the ambient chatter like a knife wrapped in silk. She air kissed both my cheeks, her designer perfume overwhelming my senses. That dress is interesting. Vintage, right? I forced a smile. Actually, it's from the new Valentino collection. Oh. Her perfectly painted lips formed a small O of surprise before quickly recovering. How unexpected. I didn't realize you were shopping high end these days. Before I could respond, my brother Turner appeared, wrapping an arm around his wife's waist. The place looks amazing, doesn't it? Lila organized everything herself. Of course she did, I muttered, taking a large sip of champagne. Speaking of organizing things, Lila's eyes gleamed with that familiar predatory shine. I just closed another major deal for my boutique chain. We're expanding to 5 new locations next quarter. The crowd around us murmured appreciatively. I caught my best friend Nicole's eye across the room, and she gave me a knowing look. If only they knew about the 8-figure deal I'd closed last week. That's wonderful, I said, meaning none of it. How's the online presence coming along? Lila's smile flickered. Oh, you know how it is with retail. Nothing beats the personal touch. Actually, Turner chimed in, Lila's been wanting to develop the digital side. Haven't you, honey? Turner, Lila hissed, but he continued obliviously. You work in tech, right, Edith? Some kind of startup thing? Something like that, I replied, suppressing a smirk. My startup thing had just been valued at 300 million, but they didn't need to know that yet. Lila quickly steered the conversation away. So, Edith, any special someone in your life? It must be so lonely, being single at your age. The familiar sting of her words made my chest tighten, but I maintained my composure. I've been focused on my career. Oh, sweetie. Lila's voice dripped with false sympathy. There's more to life than work. Look at me. I have it all. A successful business, a wonderful husband, and we're even talking about starting a family. Nicole appeared at my side, sensing my discomfort. Edith, there's someone I'd like you to meet. Vance from Sterling Ventures is here. Lila's head snapped up at the mention of Sterling Ventures. Vance is here? Turner, we should go say hello. Actually, Nicole said with a sweet smile, he specifically asked to meet Edith. I followed Nicole across the room, leaving Lila standing there with her mouth slightly open. Vance, a distinguished man in his early 40s, greeted me warmly. Edith, finally we meet in person. That Series B pitch was brilliant. Thank you, Vance. I appreciate your support in the round. We chatted about market trends and expansion plans, aware of Lila hovering nearby, straining to hear our conversation. The look of confusion on her face was priceless. Later that evening, I overheard her talking to another guest. Poor Edith, always trying to prove herself. She's clearly jealous of what Turner and I have built together. I mean, she shows up in that expensive dress, probably maxed out her credit cards just to compete with me. It's sad, really. I gripped my champagne glass tighter, remembering the contract sitting in my office safe, the one that would change everything. Lila had no idea that while she was busy playing small-town retail queen, I was building an empire. Nicole squeezed my arm. You okay? I'm fine, I said, watching Lila hold court in her designer gown, basking in the attention. Just thinking about how interesting the next few months are going to be. You're not going to tell them about the company? I shook my head. Not yet. Timing is everything, right? The night wore on, and I endured more of Lila's subtle jabs about my personal life, my career choices, even my choice of appetizers. Each comment strengthened my resolve. She thought she had me figured out, the sad single sister-in-law who couldn't measure up to her standards. Little did she know I was about to change the game entirely. And her precious boutique expansion? Well, that was about to become very, very complicated. I raised my glass in her direction, and she responded with a condescending smile. Cheers, Lila, I whispered to myself. Enjoy it while it lasts. The morning after the gala, I sat in my corner office overlooking the city, scrolling through Lila's social media posts about her amazing evening with family. Right beneath was a photo of her and Turner, with a caption about supporting local businesses. A not so subtle dig at my tech company. My phone buzzed. It was Nicole. Have you seen the business journal? She asked without preamble. I pulled up the article on my screen and felt my heart race. Luxe fashion chain seeking major investment for digital transformation, the headline read. There was Lila, quoted extensively about her vision for expanding her boutique empire. Looks like someone's finally admitting she needs help with the digital side, I said, drumming my fingers on my desk. Edith, Nicole's voice turned serious, are you really going to do this? Before I could answer, my assistant buzzed in. Miss Edith, Vance is here for your meeting. Vance strode in, impeccably dressed as always. That was quite a show your sister-in-law put on last night. She does love an audience, I replied, gesturing for him to sit. Speaking of audiences, he pulled out his tablet. The board loved your proposal for acquiring StyleNet. They're ready to move forward. StyleNet, Lila's biggest competitor in the boutique fashion space and the key to my plan. How soon can we close? 2 weeks, maybe 3. But, Edith, he leaned forward, are you sure about this? Mixing business with family. This isn't about family, I cut him off. StyleNet has the technology infrastructure we need. Their customer base aligns perfectly with our platform. It's just business. My phone buzzed again, a text from Turner. Hey sis, can we grab coffee? Need your advice. Give me the paperwork, I told Vance. I'll review it tonight. An hour later, I met Turner at our usual coffee spot. He looked troubled, stirring his Americano absently. Everything okay? I asked, settling into my chair. It's Lila, he sighed. She's been stressed about this expansion. The investors she lined up, they're pushing for more tech integration than she's comfortable with. I bit back a smile. That must be difficult for her. Actually, he brightened slightly, I was thinking maybe you could help. You know, with your tech background. Me? I raised an eyebrow. I thought Lila had it all figured out. Come on, Edith. I know things have been tense between you two, but this could be a chance to work together. Show her what you can do. I took a slow sip of my coffee, remembering Lila's words from countless family gatherings. Edith just plays with computers. Real business is about personal connections. Some people just aren't cut out for success. I'll think about it, I said finally. Back at my office, Nicole was waiting. Well? StyleNet's board meets tomorrow to approve the sale, I said, pulling up the acquisition documents. Once we announce, their stock will surge. And Lila's investors? We'll run straight to them instead, Nicole finished. You know she'll figure out you were behind it. That's the point. My phone lit up with another text, this time from Lila. Dinner at our place this weekend? Have an exciting business opportunity to discuss. Nicole read the message over my shoulder and whistled. She's really going to ask you for help, isn't she? After years of treating me like I'm beneath her? I shook my head. Now she needs my little tech background. You could just say no, Nicole suggested. Walk away. I thought about all the times I'd walked away from Lila's snide comments, her backhanded compliments, her way of making me feel small in my own family. Not this time. I'm going to that dinner, I said, picking up my phone, and I'm going to let her make her pitch. Then, when the StyleNet deal is announced, you're going to enjoy this way too much, Nicole warned. Maybe, I admitted. But you know what? She's right about one thing. Success is sweet. I typed out my response. Wouldn't miss it. Can't wait to hear about your exciting news. As I hit send, Vance's words echoed in my head about mixing business with family. But Lila had made this personal long ago. She wanted to play in the big leagues? Fine. Time to show her what real success looks like. I pulled up the StyleNet acquisition documents and started reading. Every page brought me closer to the moment Lila would finally understand exactly who she'd been underestimating all these years. Game on, sister-in-law, I murmured, signing the first page. Game on? Lila's house was exactly what you'd expect, a perfectly curated showcase of her success. I arrived precisely on time, bottle of wine in hand, wearing my most unassuming outfit. Tonight was her show, after all. Edith! Lila opened the door with theatrical enthusiasm. That top is so practical. Come in. The dining room was set for an intimate dinner, just the four of us. Turner gave me a quick hug while Nicole settled into her chair, shooting me a knowing look. I hope everyone's hungry, Lila announced, bringing out an elaborate appetizer. I took a cooking class in Paris last month. The instructor said I had a natural talent. Everything looks wonderful, I said, playing my part. Turner mentioned you wanted to discuss something. Let's eat first, she smiled, but I could see the nervous energy beneath her polished exterior. Business can wait for dessert. Throughout dinner, Lila dominated the conversation with stories about her boutiques, her clients, her vision. I noticed how she kept glancing at her phone, probably checking for emails from potential investors. Finally, as we moved to the living room with our coffee, she made her move. So, Edith, she began, perching on the edge of her designer sofa, I've been thinking about what you do with computers and websites. You mean my tech company? I supplied innocently. Yes, that. She waved her hand dismissively. The thing is, retail is changing. My investors are pushing for more digital integration. Turner beamed. This is perfect, right? You two working together? I have this amazing vision, Lila continued, pulling out a sleek presentation folder. We'll revolutionize the boutique shopping experience. Personal stylists available 24/7 through video chat, virtual try-ons, AI-powered recommendations. I took the folder, flipping through pages of glossy mock-ups. This looks expensive. Well, quality isn't cheap, she laughed nervously. We're looking for a $5 million investment for the initial phase. Nicole choked on her coffee. 5 million, I repeated. I know it sounds like a lot. Lila leaned forward, her voice honey sweet. But think about it. You'd be part of something real, not just virtual things. Plus, we're family. What exactly would my role be? I asked, already knowing the answer. Oh, you'd handle all the technical stuff. Behind the scenes, of course. I remain the face of the brand. My customers expect that personal touch. Turner jumped in. It's a great opportunity, sis. You could learn so much from Lila's business experience. I caught Nicole's eye. She was biting her lip to keep from laughing. Can I see the full business plan? I asked. Lila's smile faltered slightly. Well, we're still finalizing some details, but I need an answer soon. Other investors are very interested. I'm sure they are, I murmured, thinking about the StyleNet deal closing in less than a week. Listen, Lila set down her coffee cup with a sharp clink. I know we've had our differences, but I'm offering you a chance to be part of something special, to finally have a real business, not just a startup. The condescension in her voice made my blood boil, but I kept my expression neutral. I'll need time to review everything properly. Maybe we could meet next week to discuss details. Perfect. Lila clapped her hands. I'll have my assistant set something up. This is so exciting. As Nicole and I left later, Lila hugged me tightly. I knew you'd understand this opportunity, Edith. It's time to step into the spotlight. In my car, Nicole finally let loose. $5 million? Is she serious? She has no idea what that kind of technology actually costs, I said, pulling out my phone, or that StyleNet already has a better version in development. When's the announcement? Tuesday morning, right before our scheduled business meeting. Edith, Nicole hesitated. Did you see how excited Turner was about you two working together? I thought about my brother's hopeful face, about how he'd always tried to bridge the gap between his wife and his sister. He'll understand eventually. This isn't personal, it's business. Really? Nicole raised an eyebrow, because that folder of hers looked pretty personal. Finally have a real business? She's still treating you like her charity case. My phone buzzed with a text from Lila. Thank you for being so open-minded. Can't wait to have you on the team. I showed it to Nicole, who shook her head. She really has no clue who she's dealing with, does she? No, I smiled, thinking about Tuesday's upcoming board meeting. But she's about to find out. I typed back a response, looking forward to discussing details. The emoji felt like a small act of warfare, a tiny deception before the hammer fell. In just a few days, Lila would learn the true cost of underestimating me. Monday morning found me in a sleek conference room surrounded by StyleNet's board members. The acquisition papers lay before us, waiting for final signatures. Just to confirm, their CEO said, the announcement goes live at 9 a.m. tomorrow? Yes, Vance answered, checking his watch. The press release is ready. Stock markets open at 9:30. My phone buzzed. Another message from Lila. Can't wait for our meeting tomorrow. I have the perfect office picked out for you. I switched my phone to silent as Vance continued reviewing the terms. The door opened and Nicole slipped in, carrying a stack of reports. Latest market analysis? She whispered, sliding into the chair beside me. Lila's company isn't even mentioned as competition. The CEO cleared his throat. Ms. Edith, are you sure about the timing? We could delay the announcement if— 9 a.m. is perfect, I cut in, picking up the pen. Let's make it official. Signatures were exchanged, hands were shaken, and just like that, I owned StyleNet. As we left the building, Nicole grabbed my arm. Your phone's been buzzing nonstop. Turner's called 3 times. I checked my messages. Turner. Hey sis, Lila's really excited about tomorrow. She's been planning everything. He's going to be hurt, Nicole said softly. Before I could respond, Vance caught up with us. Edith, we need to discuss the integration timeline, and there's something else. Rumors about Lila's company having cash flow problems. What kind of problems? The kind that makes $5 million look like a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, he replied. She's been operating on credit for months. My stomach tightened. This was bigger than I'd realized. Does anyone else know? Not yet, but once our announcement hits. My phone rang again. Turner. This time I answered. Hey, what's up? Lila's planning this whole welcome ceremony thing tomorrow, he said, sounding excited. She's invited some press, major clients. I closed my eyes. Turner, about tomorrow. She's really trying, Edith. I know things haven't been great between you two, but this could change everything. I have to go, I said quickly. Meeting starting. Back in my office, Nicole watched me pace. You could still back out. Let someone else make the announcement. And let Lila keep thinking she can manipulate me, use me as her technical puppet? No, Nicole sighed. But maybe warn Turner? I stopped pacing. He's always chosen her side. always defended her behavior? Because he doesn't know the real her or the real you. My assistant interrupted through the intercom. Ms. Edith, the PR team needs to review the announcement video. The next few hours were a blur of meetings, preparations, and final checks. By evening, everything was set. I stood at my office window, watching the city lights flicker on. Last chance to change your mind, Vance said from the doorway. Would you? I asked. He considered this. Business is business, but family is complicated, I finished, especially when they see you as nothing but a stepping stone. My phone lit up with a final message from Lila. Ordered your new office nameplate today. Technical director. Isn't that perfect? You'll finally be somebody. I showed it to Vance, who whistled. She really doesn't know, does she? Know what? I asked, though I knew the answer. That you're already somebody. That while she's been playing boutique owner, you built something remarkable. Nicole appeared with takeout dinner. Everything's ready for tomorrow. Press is confirmed. Markets are primed. And Lila's little welcome ceremony, I asked, scheduled for 10 a.m., right after the announcement goes live. I picked at my food, remembering all the times Lila had dismissed my achievements, belittled my work, treated me like her inferior. Tomorrow, that would end. What time's your car coming? Nicole asked. 8:30. I want to be in the office before the announcement. Vance gathered his things to leave. For what it's worth, Edith, you've earned this. All of it. After he left, Nicole studied my face. You're not having second thoughts, are you? No, I said, picking up Lila's business proposal folder. Just thinking about tomorrow's meeting. She'll expect me to show up with this signed. Instead, you'll show up as her biggest competitor's new owner. I nodded, imagining the scene. Think she'll still want to offer me that technical director position? Nicole laughed, but it was hollow. We both knew tomorrow would change everything. My relationship with Lila, with Turner, with the entire family. Get some sleep, Nicole advised. Tomorrow's going to be intense. I gathered my things, taking one last look at Lila's message. Technical director, I muttered. We'll see who's directing whom tomorrow. Sleep didn't come easily that night. At 3 a.m., my doorbell rang. Turner stood there looking haggard. Can we talk? He asked, stepping inside. What's wrong? He paced my living room, running his hands through his disheveled hair. I just found some papers in Lila's office, bank statements, credit reports. Edith, she's in trouble. My heart sank. What kind of trouble? The boutiques are hemorrhaging money. That's why she needs the investment so badly. He collapsed onto my couch. She doesn't know I know. I sat beside him, feeling the weight of tomorrow's announcement even more heavily. Why didn't she tell you? Pride, I guess. She's always needed to appear perfect. He turned to me, eyes pleading. That's why this partnership with you is so important. She finally admitted she needs help. My phone buzzed. A text from Vance. Press release final draft ready. Need immediate approval. Turner, I started, but he cut me off. I know you and Lila have your issues, but she's trying, Edith. This could be a fresh start for everyone. Another buzz. Nicole this time. Stock markets in Asia already reacting to rumors. We can't delay. I should let you get some sleep. Turner stood up. Just give her a chance tomorrow, okay? After he left, I called Nicole. We have a problem, I said. Turner knows about Lila's financial troubles. Does he know about StyleNet? No, but he came to beg me to help her. Nicole, maybe we should. Don't you dare, she cut in. Remember the Christmas party 2 years ago when Lila told everyone your startup was just a hobby because you couldn't handle real work? That was different. Or last Thanksgiving when she suggested you were only invited out of pity? I rubbed my temples. Turner's my brother? And where was he during all of that? She had a point. Turner had always watched from the sidelines, making excuses for his wife's behavior. At 8:30 a.m., my car arrived. The drive to the office felt like heading to an execution. Nicole met me in the lobby, tablet in hand. 8 minutes until the announcement. Markets are opening strong. My phone rang. Lila. I let it go to voicemail. Edith, Vance called from the conference room. Final checks. The next few minutes were a blur of activity. Then, at precisely 9 a.m., the press release went live. Tech giant acquires StyleNet in landmark deal. My phone exploded with notifications, LinkedIn messages, texts, emails, and multiple calls from both Turner and Lila. Stock's already up 12%, Nicole reported. Edith, my assistant interrupted. Turner's here. He burst into my office, face flushed. Tell me this isn't true. I stood up slowly. I can explain. Explain what? That while Lila was trusting you, planning a future together, you were secretly buying out her competition? It's business, Turner, nothing personal. He laughed bitterly. Nothing personal? She's about to announce you as her new technical director. The press is already at her office. My phone buzzed again, Lila calling. You should answer that, Turner said coldly. Tell her yourself what kind of sister-in-law you really are. Before I could respond, Nicole rushed in. Lila's giving a press conference. It's streaming live. We all turned to the screen. There stood Lila, perfectly composed despite everything, addressing a room of reporters. Excited to announce a new chapter for our company, she was saying, but her smile looked strained. Suddenly, her assistant whispered something in her ear. The color drained from her face as she glanced at her phone. The camera caught her expression changing from confusion to shock to rage. I have to go, Turner said quietly. She needs me. After he left, Nicole touched my arm. You okay? No, I admitted. But it's done now. My phone lit up with a text from Lila. How dare you? After everything I offered you, you'll regret this. What do we do now? Nicole asked. Now? I picked up my jacket. We go to that meeting? Are you crazy? After this? She wanted to make a show of putting me in my place, I said, heading for the elevator. Let's see how she handles being put in hers. Nicole grabbed her tablet and followed. This is either the bravest or stupidest thing you've ever done. Maybe it was both. But as we drove to Lila's office, watching StyleNet stock continue to climb, I knew there was no turning back. The time for hiding my success, for playing small, was over. Ready? Nicole asked as we pulled up to the building. I took a deep breath, seeing the crowd of reporters still gathered outside. Ready or not, it's showtime. The moment I walked into Lila's office building, cameras started flashing. Reporters shouted questions. Ms. Edith, was this a hostile takeover? Did your family connections influence the deal? Nicole cleared a path through the crowd as we made our way to the elevator. Just before the doors closed, Turner slipped in with us. She's waiting in the conference room, he said flatly. Try not to destroy what's left of this family. The elevator ride was silent. When we reached the top floor, Lila's assistant met us with a panicked expression. Ms. Lila says to go right in, she stammered, glancing nervously at her phone. The investors are all here. I pushed open the conference room doors. Lila sat at the head of the table, surrounded by men in expensive suits. Her perfect makeup couldn't hide the fury in her eyes. Edith, she said, voice dripping with venom, so kind of you to join us. I was just explaining to our investors about our exciting digital transformation plans. Were you? I set my briefcase on the table. That must have been an interesting conversation. One of the investors cleared his throat. Ms. Lila, given this morning's announcement? This morning's announcement changes nothing, Lila cut in. My sister-in-law clearly didn't understand what she was buying. StyleNet is hardly competition for us. Nicole pulled up a chart on the presentation screen. StyleNet's market share last quarter. Another click. And now, with our technology integration, the investors started whispering among themselves. Lila's smile became strained. Perhaps we should discuss this privately, she suggested. Why? I asked, taking a seat. Isn't this what you wanted? A business meeting with all the key players? Edith, Turner warned from the corner. One of the investors stood up. I think we've seen enough. Ms. Lila, given these developments, we'll have to withdraw our offer. Wait, Lila stood up desperately. This doesn't change anything. Edith will sell StyleNet to us, won't you, dear? That's why you bought it, right? To help family? The room fell silent. I could feel everyone watching me. Actually, I opened my briefcase. I brought StyleNet's new business plan. Would you like to see what real digital transformation looks like? Lila's face went white. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. I started distributing copies of the presentation. StyleNet's new AI-powered platform launches next month. We're opening in every major market where your boutiques operate. You're trying to put me out of business? Lila's voice cracked. No, Lila. I'm showing you what happens when you underestimate people. The investors were already packing up their things. One by one, they filed out, leaving apologetic murmurs in their wake. This is what you wanted all along, Lila accused, tears threatening to ruin her mascara, to humiliate me. No, I stood up. I wanted respect. I wanted you to see me as an equal. But you couldn't do that, could you? Turner finally spoke up. Both of you, stop this. We're family. Family! Lila laughed hysterically. She just destroyed everything I built. You did that yourself, Nicole interjected, showing another chart. Your companies have been running on empty for months. Lila lunged for the presentation remote, but I caught her wrist. Careful, the press is still downstairs. Wouldn't want to ruin that perfect image, would we? She jerked away from me. You think you've won? This isn't over. Actually, it is. I pulled out one final document. StyleNet is offering to buy your remaining stores. At market value, of course. It's more than fair considering your financial situation. Turner grabbed the paper. Edith, this is too far. Is it? I turned to him. Ask your wife about the loans she's been hiding. Ask her about the maxed out credit lines. Lila's composure finally cracked. Turner, I can explain. Save it, he said, scanning the documents. How long have you been lying to me? The room fell into heavy silence. Nicole touched my arm, suggesting we leave, but I couldn't move. This was the moment I'd waited for. Lila's perfect facade crumbling. The offer expires in 48 hours, I said, gathering my things. Your choice, Lila. Sell to us, or try explaining to your creditors why you turned down a lifeline. As we walked out, I heard Lila's sob break through the silence. Turner didn't follow us. In the elevator, Nicole let out a long breath. That was necessary, I finished. Brutal, she corrected. But maybe they both needed the wake-up call. My phone buzzed with breaking news. StyleNet shares soar after acquisition announcement. Traditional retail competitors struggle. Think she'll take the offer? Nicole asked as we reached the lobby. I looked back at the elevator. She doesn't have a choice, and for once she knows it. The next 48 hours passed in a blur of press conferences, board meetings, and endless phone calls. I hadn't heard from Turner or Lila, but their silence spoke volumes. Then, at exactly 9 a.m., my assistant rushed in. They're here. Lila walked into my office like a wounded animal, Turner close behind her. She'd traded her usual designer outfit for a simple black dress, her face bare of makeup. The papers, she said quietly, placing a folder on my desk. Signed. I opened the folder, checking each page. You made the right choice. Did I have one? She laughed bitterly. You made sure of that, didn't you? Turner stepped forward. Can we talk? All of us? I gestured to the seats in front of my desk. Neither moved. I'll stand, Lila said. I wouldn't want to get too comfortable in the presence of, what did that magazine call you? Tech's new queen? Lila, Turner warned. No, let her speak, I said. Isn't that what you've always done? Let her say whatever she wants. You want to talk about what people say? Lila's voice rose. How about we talk about how you played me? Pretended to consider my offer while orchestrating my downfall? Like you pretended to respect me? I stood up. All those years of subtle digs, public humiliation, treating me like your charity case? I was trying to help you. Help me? I slammed my hand on the desk. By telling everyone my work was just a hobby? By suggesting I was jealous of your success? Stop it, both of you, Turner shouted. The room fell silent. Look at what this is doing to our family. Family? I turned to him. Where was this concern for family when your wife was mocking me at every gathering? When she was spreading rumors about my company? I didn't know, he said softly, about any of it. Your success, Lila's debts. Because you didn't want to know, I replied. It was easier to believe her version of reality. Lila sank into a chair, her facade finally cracking. You have everything now. Are you happy? Before I could answer, Nicole burst in. Edith, the market's responding to the acquisition. StyleNet stock is up another 20%. Lila flinched at the news. Turner moved to comfort her, but she waved him away. Congratulations, she whispered. You've won. The mighty Lila, brought low by the sister-in-law she underestimated. This isn't about winning, I said. No? She stood up, finding a last spark of defiance. Then what was it about? Revenge? Proving yourself? Making me feel as small as I made you feel? The truth of her words hit hard. Had I become exactly what I despised? I wanted you to see me, I admitted. Really see me. Not as your husband's pathetic sister, but as someone worthy of respect. And this was the only way? Turner asked. Destroying her business? Her business was already destroying itself, Nicole interjected, showing them the financial reports. We offered fair market value, more than fair, actually. Lila stared at the numbers, her hands trembling. I didn't want anyone to know how bad it was, how much I was struggling. Why didn't you just ask for help? Turner pleaded. Because she couldn't stand appearing weak, I answered for her. Could you, Lila? She looked up at me, and for the first time I saw something real in her eyes. Fear, vulnerability, recognition. What happens now? She asked. Now? I sat back down. Now we handle the transition professionally. Your stores become StyleNet branches. Your employees keep their jobs. And me? I pulled out another document. That depends on you. There's a position available in the merged company, head of customer experience, if you want it. Turner and Lila both stared at me. You're offering me a job? Lila asked incredulously. After everything? You built a loyal customer base. You understand retail. That's valuable even in a digital world. She took the offer letter with shaking hands. Why? Because destroying you was never the goal. Making you see me was. Turner touched my arm. Edith. Don't, I cut him off. This isn't forgiveness, it's business. Lila stood up, clutching both folders. I need time to think. You have until tomorrow, I said. The press release about the merger goes out at noon. They left quietly, leaving me alone with Nicole. That was unexpected, she said. Was it? I looked out my office window at the city below. Maybe I'm tired of people underestimating each other. My phone buzzed. A text from Turner. Thank you for giving her a chance, for giving us all one. I didn't reply. Some wounds take more than a job offer to heal, but maybe, just maybe, this was a start. The merger announcement dominated business news for days. I sat in my office watching Lila's first presentation as head of customer experience on the live stream. She looked different, more genuine, less artificial. The audience responded well to her natural charm when it wasn't wrapped in superiority. My phone buzzed. Nicole, turn on channel 8 now. I flipped on the TV just in time to catch the interviewer asking Lila about the merger. It was a wake-up call, Lila said, looking directly into the camera. Sometimes success blinds you to your own flaws and to other people's strengths. The interviewer leaned forward. Are you referring to your sister-in-law's acquisition of StyleNet? Lila paused, and I held my breath. Edith taught me a valuable lesson about underestimating people, about assuming you know someone's worth based on your own prejudices. I switched off the TV as my office door opened. Turner walked in carrying 2 coffee cups. Peace offering? He held one out. Since when do you bring peace offerings to the office? Since my wife and sister taught me I need to pay more attention. He sat down. I watched Lila's interview. So did I. She meant it, you know. He fiddled with his cup. The other night she cried for hours, not about the business, but about how she treated you, about how she'd become someone she didn't recognize. And you? I asked. What did you recognize? That I failed both of you. By staying silent, I enabled her worst behavior and dismissed your achievements. My phone buzzed again. Vance. StyleNet's numbers are exceeding projections. Lila's customer retention strategy is actually working. Of course it is, I muttered. What? Turner asked. Nothing. Just business stuff. He stood up. Speaking of business, there's something you should see. He led me to the elevator and up to the executive floor. The doors opened to reveal Lila standing in the hallway next to a covered wall plaque. What's this? I asked warily. Something I should have done long ago, she said, pulling away the cover. There on the wall hung a series of awards and recognitions, all mine from over the years. Articles about my company's innovations, photos from key moments, even that first small business award I won in college. How did you get these? Nicole helped, Lila admitted. I wanted to show everyone who walks through here exactly who they're working with. No more hiding your light. Or competing with it? I couldn't help asking. Or that, she agreed quietly. I've done enough competing for a lifetime. Turner wrapped an arm around her shoulders. We both have a lot to make up for. This doesn't fix everything, I said. No. Lila stepped forward. But maybe this will help. She handed me an envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter of resignation. I don't understand, I frowned. The customer retention numbers are good because the team is good, she finished, but this company needs leadership that isn't complicated by family drama. I found another opportunity, something smaller, where I can start fresh. Lila, let me finish. She held up her hand. You won, Edith, not just the business battle, but the war I didn't even know I was waging against myself, against what I thought success had to look like. Turner squeezed her shoulder supportively. I'm not asking for forgiveness, she continued. I'm asking for a chance to earn back your respect, not as your employee, but as your sister-in-law. I studied her face, the genuine remorse, the absence of her usual perfect mask. Keep the job, I said finally, but on one condition. Name it. No more games, no more pretense, just 2 professional women doing what they're good at. She nodded slowly. I think I can manage that. Good. I turned to the wall of achievements. Because I'm going to need help filling the rest of this wall. Already working on it, Nicole called from down the hall, carrying another frame. Wait until you see next week's cover story. As they hung the new article, I watched Lila's reflection in the glass. For the first time, she was looking at my accomplishments with genuine appreciation rather than competition. You know, she said quietly, I always thought success meant having power over others. I never realized true power comes from lifting them up instead. Better late than never, I replied, but without the bitterness that had driven me for so long. Turner hugged us both. So, family dinner this weekend? No business talk allowed? Deal, Lila and I said simultaneously, then caught each other's eye and laughed. Some victories aren't about winning or losing. Sometimes they're about finding the strength to start over and the wisdom to let others do the same.